What's going on, everybody? My name is Linwood. I hope you guys are ready for the best hour of hope, positivity, electricity flowing through your body that you will ever receive here today and right now. I am excited today because I am alive and well. I am blessed. Heart is beating strong. Sun is out. The wind is blowing. Everything you can think of, I am super grateful for, and I know you are too. So sit back, pull up a chair, let down your hair, kick off your shoes, and pour up a shot, baby, because the show's getting ready to start. Let's go!
Hey, listen up, y'all. I'm going to shout out this young gun right here because he's trying to do his thing. Joseph Jaffe, not famous. Probably rightfully so, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm famous because, he not famous, and he like, yo, let me call my famous friends and see if they'll shout me out and make me more famous, sir. Right? But so, Joseph Jaffe, man, it's cool. You got your late night talk show popping off. That's what's dope. Streaming, been doing your thing, man. Started this in March of the 2020, which is, tough throughout the years, but booking great guests, man. Jamal Mashboard, James Rollins, steady building it, man. Keep it popping off, man. Keep building your brand, man. Believe in yourself. Keep going hard, all right? That's what it's all about. One of these days, this little acronym of yours, not famous, is not going to be true. People going to see you in the mall and be like, I know who you is. Them going to be your cousins saying it all incorrect like that. But you know what I'm saying? You know what you going to do. What you going to do? They family. All right, bro. I'll holler.
A spring in your step. There is a twinkle in your eye.
I can throw a rhyme down for you real quick. Yes, they call me Thrill. They say that I'm the man. You disagree, how could you? Let me make you understand.
Should we bring her on the show? Can anybody find me? And there she is.
Fresh as some bread. Pour right from the oven. When you feel rejected, get some my loving.
Take on me.
She looks wonderful. Mom looks amazing.
Somebody too. Okay, more bugger off now. I've got to show it to you.
No. Like that?
Joseph Jaffe, ladies and gentlemen.
You just made the new intro of the show. And you, my friends, are witnessing the birth of a new show. You're witnessing the birth of Joseph Jaffe is not famous. But my next guest is, because my next guest is Bob Garfield. He is famous. He is famous, sir, as Cedric the Entertainer would say. Yes, new glasses. You like the massive pump-up reel? We're pumping up the volume today. Stephen Rubin says, good luck on the new format. I am so stoked to tell you all about it. You're right. Everything is new. Everything is new, starting with a new name. JJNF, Joseph Jaffe, is not famous. My next guest is. Now, let's address the glasses, shall we? I like to think of them as Tony Stark glasses. Although I will be honest with you, at least one member of my family mentioned the words NRA. I'm not a member of the NRA. I'd like to think of Tony Stark. Hey Siri. Oh, I was just checking if my phone went off. It didn't. What else can I tell you? New haircut, new look, new suit. It is what I would call a very specific style that I call mullet style, right? Business in the front, party at the back. In this particular case, there is business above the belt and there's just a party going on below the belt. We will not mention anything more about my dress code, shall we? But today is nothing to fear day. And I have no fear. I have no fear because I love trying new things. I love taking risks. Sometimes I love failing because it's all part of growth. I do want to say a couple of very quick thank yous. I want to thank one person, Jesse Thomas and Jess3, for all of the wonderful design work that you see and that you are about to see throughout this experience. The logo, the backdrops, and a lot of the graphical elements. I'm very grateful to you. I spoke about fear. There is nothing to fear. Today is not about being afraid. Today is about being exhilarated. I'm not sure if I was ready to launch tonight, but you know what? Done is better than perfect. And it was just time to close an old chapter and begin a new chapter. And that's what I'm doing tonight. And that is what my seated soliloquy is all about. Joseph Jaffe is not famous, but my next guest is. If you love the name, please direct all compliments to my various social media channels. If you hate the name, please direct all complaints to previous guest Bruce Turkel. Bruce came up with the name, and at some point I'm going to invite him on the show to tell the story. To date, everyone I've told absolutely loves it, or they're terrific poker players and really good liars. Most importantly, I love it. I really, really love it. Tonight, I launch the next chapter or iteration in my hero's journey, to use the phrase from the last guest of my previous chapter last night, Elisa Khan. My unfolding narrative now reads, in 2020, I reinvented myself. In 2021, I will seek to reinvent the variety show in the streaming era. From tonight, the show will be at 9 p.m. Eastern Daily Time, Monday through Thursday. It will always be live. When a guest can't make the later time, I'll pre-record their segment at 12 noon. Regulars and Jaffe coin holders will be able to tune in live to watch, comment on the show, and with each other. The show will still have a main guest. Tonight's inaugural guest is Bob Garfield, who is no stranger to the evolution and the revolution, the reinvention of media, or the lack thereof. I will be introducing correspondence with an homage in particular to Jon Stewart and his Daily Show approach of creating stars. And perhaps the biggest change will be performances from creators with diverse talents, diverse perspectives, and diverse backgrounds. Live tipping will become a central part of the show. And yes, there will be after shows and reunion shows as well. All of this will be produced by a masochistic host with a leaky valve. Consider this a soft launch, but a hard, continuous commitment to culture, creativity, and change. So that's what's different. Here's what isn't. The show is still about hope, positivity, and optimism. And if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing. The show is still about my audience, my community, my family. These terms are synonymous with each other. Your loyalty, engagement, and participation will always be recognized and rewarded. The show is still about my guests and how I can make them famouser. The show is not about me. I am not famous, but my next guest is. And now, let's get on with the show. Well, it's 26 days to heart surgery, 26 days. And because today is Nothing to Fear Day, I don't fear that. I, as many of you know, am basically creating a GoFundMe use case using my cryptocurrency, using my creator coin. And if you want to show support for the work I've done, for my upcoming surgery, for this show, all of these campaign levels are tied in to the show. I want to thank all the people that you're seeing on the bottom for already stepping up. And in some cases, as you will see, unbelievable how 3 people in particular have already donated $1,800 each. I am overwhelmed. I am humbled by your generosity. It's just incredible. And 10% of all proceeds will be donated to the Mitral Foundation. As I put it, a foundation that I didn't know existed before, but now one that I'm inextricably connected to. I'm also inextricably connected to Bob Garfield, journalist, author, dashing arthritic. He is my guest tonight. And then first correspondent, first performer, first creator, Simon Javan Ochello, journalist, author. It says journalist, author, dashing arthritic. Already I've made a mistake. He's an entrepreneur, damn it. And he will perform for us tonight. Next week's guests, no show on Memorial Day, will be Andrea Sullivan, Dan Schauble, and Michelle Seiler Tucker. And I look forward to welcoming them onto the show. And tomorrow, the first reunion show with a full house, Bob Cialdini, Peter Katz, Andy Storch, and Fatini Iconomopoulos. Finally, just very quick happy birthday to Laurie Moses, Tim Brunel, Nicholas Einstein, Lauren Brown, and David Osler. Hope you guys are having a great day. But now it's time to bring on Mr. Bob Garfield. It looks like the dashing arthritic has fallen asleep in the background, but I'm sure he will wake up and perk up with his introduction. Bob Garfield is the host of the Bully Pulpit podcast on Substack, launching in June via Booksmart Studios, and the host of the Influencer video series at realgarfield.com. For 20 years, Bob was co-host of Public Radio Weekly, Peabody Award-winning On the Media. He's also completed a national tour of his one-man show, Ruggedly Jewish, a heroic multi-mediocrity. Try and say that one 3 times fast. Bob has been a columnist, contributing editor, always written for the Washington Post magazine, The Guardian, Advertising Age, The New York Times, Playboy, and has been employed variously by ABC, CBS, CNBC as an on-air analyst. As a lecturer and panelist, he's appeared in 37 countries on 6 continents. He wrote a shitty episode of a short-lived NBC sitcom, Sweet Surrender, and co-wrote a song recorded by Willie Nelson, It's a Long Story. He is a 6-time New York Times worst-selling author. His latest book, American Manifesto, explains how our society came to insurrection in a late career attempt to be less of a parasite. He also co-founded the Media Future Summit and the Purple Project for Democracy. The man has been busy. Mr. Bob Garfield, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me. I noticed, though, that the list of birthdays, you didn't have my name.
Wait, no. Your birthday is today?
Oh, no, but I would have liked seeing my name there.
You know what? I had a whole happy birthday that was not planned for you, I should say. But Mr. Bob Garfield, it is good to see you. I know it is good to be seen by me too. I get it. There are many comments. Ian Wolfman said Bob's centerfold in Playboy was profound. Was that Playgirl or Playboy? I'm not really sure. Jenny Q is here. She said, hello. And I'm trying to see what else. Mr. Joey Dumont, all the way at the top. He said, stoked about the show. And Bob, Joey, who you know from our iMedia days, just brought out his own book, Dirty Words, The Life and Times of a Recovering Douchebag.
That sounds great. I, for one, wasn't aware that Joey was in recovery.
I've got the rim shot somewhere as well. Glenn says, one of my favorite journalists. I'm not really a journalist, though. You know, I'm more of just a thought leader, but thank you. Wow, that was amazing. Oh, I get it. Anyway, anywho, Mr. Bob Garfield, how the hell are you? Has anything been going on in your life of late?
No, you're right. I mean, apart from having my shoulder torn open with a scalpel and getting my sorry ass fired from my job of 20 years, why no, it's been a pretty calm 10 days.
So I think maybe, we'll take just a brief moment to address what I would call the tabby Garfield, the furry little kitty in the room. I'd like to just give you an opportunity while I drink my By the way, my cardiologist said I can have 1 glass of wine every night. And so I just make it a really, really, really big one, playing by the rules. So while I drink my wine, I thought I would just give you a few moments to tell us whatever you want to tell us about whatever you want to tell us about.
Well, it's been all over the media, of course, that I was fired, although really I would characterize it as me just wanting to spend more time with my lawyers. It's a horrendous situation, and there's very little I can say because of this is a battle that is going to be waged in other venues between me and my former employer. But it was shocking, and the backstory will just make the enamel peel off your teeth. And it's been interesting to watch as thousands of people have weighed in, mostly on Twitter, with thinking they understand exactly what took place and why. And in fact, none of them, neither my many fans and supporters I've been delighted to learn about, neither they nor my detractors have any idea what happened, apart from the company's announcement that I was fired under the bullying policy. So I wasn't fired for bullying. I was fired for shouting. Some people have an Achilles heel. I have an Achilles femur. And it has been a problem since I was a child. When I feel provoked by unfairness or dishonesty or meanness or any kind of abuse, I do not take it quietly, and sometimes I completely lose my shit. I had managed to get through an entire career without ever raising my voice at any other colleague until this current gig over the last 20 years. But do please know that 99% of the shouting in question involved not subordinates or junior people, but my peers, the brain trust, the top tier of the organization. And what was the pretext for my firing was in meetings where junior subordinates were there, and in a couple of cases, what flipped me out was insubordination, and I lost it. But for what it's worth, I haven't. My staff, I thought I was on excellent terms with, and I don't even scold them, or did not scold them when I thought work was late or substandard in any way. It seldom happened because they are just an astonishing group of people, unbelievably talented, with extraordinary scope, with extraordinary intellectual curiosity, very, very good at their jobs, but not all the work was good. And I didn't even, when something came to me that I was either late or I didn't think was satisfactory, that needed reworking, I just did it. I did not, I did not have any harsh words for anybody. So it's, when the story emerges, you will find out just how perverse it is. But I'll just go with miscarriage of justice and leave the rest for my lawyers to deal with.
Well, we do have a comment from Ian Wolfman, who said, "I heard it was mostly Michael Donnelly's fault," and apparently there was a joke for Michael watching, by the way. But I have brought in this, Bob. So now I've got the rim shot, and should you even dare to crack one more joke, I've got a laugh track for you, just to make you feel a little bit more comfortable. But you know what? As much as I would love to drill deeper on that boring stuff, what people really want to hear about are fun facts about Bob Garfield. That is why people tune into the show, and so I do not want them I don't want them to be disappointed. So first fun fact about you, Mr. Bob Garfield, because you've lived an interesting life. You shot machine guns with Hunter S. Thompson. We actually have a photo, as you can see, of the very moment. Well, what was that like, and did he ever aim the gun at you?
You know, you're a great guy, and I wish you well in this project, but this is the worst fucking Photoshop job I have ever seen.
It that is exactly, my friend, what I was going for.
You got that rim shot thing there, Joe. Yeah, I was covering. I was doing something.
I got something else for you, because the next time you swear and you say you, I can, well, I can't bleep you, but I can bleep myself. So Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, I was. We were both covering the same Soldiers of Fortune convention back in the '80s, and there was a gun range, so we fired, I think, AR-15s. No, they were actual. No, these were machine guns. These were not just semi-automatic. So anyway, some sort of maybe it was an M16 or a Kalashnikov, and then we also fired Glock, because semi-automatic handguns.
Well,
At I don't know, I think at aluminum plates that were dressed up the
hey,
same.
listen, Bob. If you thought that last piece of Photoshop was bad, I'm only going to follow it up with this one, which is you bowled in the White House. And I chose to put your head, by the way, on George W. Bush's body. You're welcome. You're welcome. How does one bowl in the White House, and did security catch you?
Well, I didn't sneak into the White House. I was doing a story. What happened, Joe, is that I wanted to take my kids bowling one Saturday. They were small. My daughters at the time were maybe 6 and 9, and we couldn't get in any local bowling lanes because the league play had shut out open lanes. So it frustrated me, because I knew that only 16 miles from my house sat a lane that was absolutely vacant 99.9% of the time, and it was the one in the White House. So I did a story on NPR on All Things Considered, where I worked for 12 years, as a kind of what's the I'm losing a word because I'm a senior American, but a something of political influence. What is the word? Oh my.
No. Curmudgeon? No.
No. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, I recorded my efforts trying to make connections with the likes of Ralph Nader and my congressman in the American Bowling Congress to try to get enough connections to get me invited into the White House residence, where the bowling lanes are, or lane is, and I ultimately succeeded.
So Glenn did ask if you used the swimming pool as well.
No,
the toilet.
No, we did not take a dip.
You did not take a dip. Well, okay. So now, come on. Everybody knows everything that there is to know about Bob Garfield, and if you believe that, I'm pretty sure there are some more fun facts for when you come back on the show. But Bob, I want to talk about our relationship, and it's always been. I would describe it as a friendship where time will go by, maybe even years will go by, and when we see each other, I think there's genuine affection, and there's a genuine connection. And I remember all the way back, a very vivid memory was spending time with you back in the iMedia days, probably in Florida as well. And I was surprised, because the guy that made his money and built his reputation on the 30-second spot, first of all, spoke to the little shit that wrote Life After the 30-second spot, and kind of agreed with him. But even then, and back then, you were already seeing, I think, the writing on the wall, and you were already pivoting, and you were already going through the what comes next. I saw it then, and I've seen it throughout your career. That I don't know whether it's restlessness, or whether it's just the ability to always want to kind of figure out what comes next. So we're gonna get to a big project of yours, a passion project of yours, the influencer. But I would love for you to kind of talk about your career path, the trajectory, and as the guy who literally, was sitting in the epicenter of the cash cow, the 30-second spot. When did you first start to see some cracks? And when did you decide that it was time yourself to begin to at least diversify your focus and your thought leadership?
Well, there's about 14 questions in there, so let me just.
I'd like you to address number 3, 8, and 7B, please.
Very good. First of all, I want to say I agree. We don't see each other often. We used to meet at these advertising and marketing events around the country where we both often were speakers, and so we would hang out, every 3.5 years for a while and drink abusively and sometimes even play cards. So, and every time it's as if no time had elapsed since the last one. So I feel the same way. And that's why I'm just delighted to hear your voice again and to see your face. And it's why I am really wishing you well for your surgery in a couple of weeks. I know mitral valve prolapse is not uncommon, but I also know open heart surgery is no cakewalk. And I just am, I wish you nothing but the best. Easy surgery, successful recovery.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My career I've always done at least 5 or 6 different things at the same time. When I was at Ad Age for 25 years, while I was writing the advertising criticism column called Ad Review, I was also, my first 4 years were spent writing a roving feature column where I'd go around the country and the world looking for just eccentric stories and people and writing them while simultaneously establishing myself as an advertising critic. Fatefully, the advertising criticism got a lot more traction than my feature column, which lived only 4 years. But my feature column also got me to start doing pieces for All Things Considered at National Public Radio. And I was able to transfer my roving correspondent self to public radio while concentrating on ad criticism for Ad Age, and then always doing a lot of freelance writing and speaking, as you referred to earlier. And I tried to start a PBS quiz show called Know It All. That was a saga that I was able, even though I failed in the show, I was able to write about it for the Washington Post magazine, and it wound up in one of my books. I was on the magazine staff of the Washington Post for quite a number of years. It's always been a number of things going at the same time. I'm a bee that needs to buzz from flower to flower. Concerning my reporting on the beginning of the end for the media economy and the advertising economy that is so tied to it, that goes back 20 years. And, I was beginning to read in Advertising Age the stories about the nascent digital revolution, and I was seeing early signs of dislocation at the networks and the TV networks and in newspapers. And all I did was extrapolate a little and try to imagine what the next few years were going to bring. And no matter how I did the math, it came out to be catastrophic for the media economy and for the advertising economy. So, I don't even know when it was, but 20 years ago, I wrote a piece in Advertising Age called The Chaos Scenario, which eventually became a book called The Chaos Scenario, which I think was 17 years ago. And it just laid out, as it turned out quite presciently, as to how the media and advertising economies would implode, and tried to speculate at least as to what if anything would replace them. And I did a pretty good job. The colossal thing that I missed was the growth, the extraordinary, rapid and omnivorous growth of Facebook, which has had so many really catastrophic effects on not only did it exacerbate the problems with the media world, it has been ruinous for democracy, not just here but elsewhere around the world. So great utility. It's great to keep up with, your high school friends and your cousins, but the damage it has done to the society is incalculable. And
I think, by the way, I
pure
think we all missed it. Yeah, I think we all missed it. I mean, I think we all lumped these platforms into one bucket. And to a degree, Twitter hops in and out of that turdy bucket at the best of times as well. So, don't be so hard on yourself. We're all trying to figure out how to clean up the mess.
Yeah, I will say this. I've spent a good part of my last, let's say, 6 years as a journalist on the media, covering the Trump disaster and documenting the various predations of that administration and its supporters. And I think it's fair to say that even before Joe Biden took the oath of office in January, that not Donald Trump, but Mark Zuckerberg was the most powerful and dangerous person in the world. And he still is.
Scott Taylor says, Bob Garfield, I saw you speak at a grocery conference years ago, and you did a fantastic job. You took a part.
I did, Scott. I did do a fantastic job because I gave all this advice. What I don't know about the grocery business could fill the libraries of the world. But I said, yeah, you guys should do this, and this. And they did. And kind of, I think it was. I think they got their money's worth for that presentation.
Well, he said, so happy to finally let you know that you took apart some supermarket advertising. It was great. I think maybe you knew it was great. And Ian adds, nobody wants to listen to OTM without Bob. So join him at realgarfield.com. Just make sure that you send the check to Ian Wolfman at gmail.com.
Well, there is some conflict of interest there because Ian runs Verified ASAP, which is doing this business case to launch realgarfield.com, and it is a very exciting project journalistically, and I think as a marketing startup, it's. I think there's a chance that it is the better mousetrap for reaching and cultivating and growing audiences. It's and I hope so, because I've spent the last more than a year working on the Influencer Project, which is a video series which you can subscribe to at realgarfield.com. It does not cost anything, realgarfield.com. And it attempts to understand how this extraordinary phenomenon of the influencer economy and the influencer culture have gone from 0 to 1,000 miles per hour in the space of just a few years. And we'll talk to influencers and business people and academics and journalists to look at it from every perspective.
And Alec Baldwin as well. Now, Bob, I mean, again, here you are, and you're at the forefront with digital. How you saw, Yogi Berra said, if you come to a fork in the road, take it. I like to say, if you see writing on the wall, read it, even if it looks like a ransom note behind us. But you've now built, and you're building this equity around influence and influencer. I had Bob Cialdini on the show, and Bob Berg, and so many people are talking about this. I saw this today as well. This may be the first and only time I ever show a graph on the show, especially drinking red wine. But there's definitely a lot of work to be done, especially if 77.3% of all influencer income is coming from brand deals, and especially when we end up with stories like fake famous, and the Fire Festival, and stories of people with millions and millions and Dr. Evil millions of followers can't even sell 5 T-shirts on Instagram. What do you want the world to know about influencers, about influence, and specifically how you are applying your thinking and your incredible thought leadership on this project?
Well, it remains to be seen how incredible my thought leadership is. But
Here's a question.
it's a three cushion billiard shot is what I'm doing. And remember, this is a business case for verified ASAP, which has its own fish to fry, which is to demonstrate that this is a superior way of it replaces the old marketing funnel, and it's about opt-ins, and it's about giving the opt-ins incentives to use and share. Okay, what I'm doing is this, like I say, 3 cushion shot. First, I'm creating this series called The Influencer, and the idea is that I interview influencers, whether they're young people on TikTok or established celebrities like Alec Baldwin, who was our pilot episode, and to find out how it evolved for them, what it means to them, who influences them, what's utopian and dystopian about this new development in our culture, and so on. What they do, of course, is share the episode with their many, 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 many followers. Some percentage of them, actually a quite large percentage of them, opt in to realgarfield.com and are incented with various kinds of rewards to share episodes with their friends, yielding more opt-ins. I do this with influencer after influencer after influencer until I have accumulated enough influence of my own to reach my goal of being the 5th Kardashian. I want to be a global social media sensation, and I will accept nothing less. And then
Sorry, hit the wrong button. What I meant was this. That's what I meant.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The good-looking Kardashian.
Tip your servers. I'll be here all week. So yeah, that's the goal. And then the third oblique angle of the billiard shot is for once I command this very large audience of opted in fans, I will unleash that power in behalf of the Purple Project for Democracy, which is a nonprofit that I have been working with for several years now, that is meant to help rekindle trust and faith in democratic institutions at a time when our democracy is very much in peril. The goal is to do something like the Don't Let Friends Drive Drunk campaign. If our coalition has its way in 5 years, just like friends won't let friends drive drunk, friends won't let friends opt out of the political process. People will vote. People will work in their communities. People will participate either in canvassing for a candidate or running for office or working on a zoning hearing board or you name it, but not neglecting the democracy that sustains us. So that is the ultimate goal. But first, I get to interview a whole bunch of influencers.
Well, listen, I did check for my invitation. I think it might have gone to spam, but I just want you to know that my fee, I give you the friends and family rate, my friend. So when you're ready for me, because I know you started off with the easy ones to get like Alec Baldwin, and I'm a little bit harder, but if you are ever hard up, and I mean really hard up, like we're talking about like 12 seconds before airtime, I know some great people that I can put you in contact with, is what I wanted to say.
Well, thank you very much. I'll have my agent talk to your agent.
Bob, if I had to reframe this master plan, I'd love to call it an evil master plan, but it isn't evil at all, because really what it is influence with a purpose. Influence, any power can be yielded or wielded for good or for evil, for positive or for negative. And it looks like you are trying to actually bring together that the dirty word, the dirty E word, which is engagement. People that actually vote with their mice, with their clicks, with their voices, with their social currency, and actually use it to change the world. We're a little short of time, but I tell you what, we have. Would it be okay to play the shorter clip, the little sizzle for the influence? For the influence.
Just play the top of the main one. I want them to see the opening.
All right, you're gonna get the main one. Here it goes.
Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
The history of the world is the history of great influencers, for good, for evil, and for cosmetics.
Hi, it's Kourtney Kardashian.
What explains this new economy and culture? Who are these smartphone icons? And most importantly, how can I be one of them? I'm Bob Garfield, and this is The Influencer. In this series, we visit prominent influencers, business executives, celebrities, and scholars to understand modern influence and to explore a profound mystery of the media age. How did this guy, with a national radio show and a zillion books, decades on TV...
Because it takes two for a lie to work, the liar and the person who's willing to accept it.
A theater show, a direct connection with leaders of tomorrow, and even a freaking YouTube series, wind up with a social following like this.
This compares to Diana of the Kids Diana Show, which has more than 64 million YouTube subscribers. Yeah, Diana is 6.
This is a travesty, and we are going to fix it right before your eyes on The Influencer. Thank you, Joe. You played the whole thing.
The influencer. All right, Mr. Bob Garfield, I have a quote for you that from me to you. It is, it is a thought, it is a wish, and it is something that I think you and I share together at this time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. As we embark on new chapters, new journeys, new stories, new heroes' stories, I wish you incredible luck, success, happiness, and most importantly, health. And this was said by the great tea that you always see sold in New York City, Sanka. I mean, you know what I mean. I thought maybe you'd laugh at that, but the great Seneca said that as well.
So listen, Seneca, it's not the decaffeinated coffee crystals. Is that what you're saying to me? Yeah,
that's what I was trying to say. You know what? I'm not even going to give you any more plugs if you're going to be like that. But please,
buttons now.
Please check out The Influencer. Please check out Bob's Substack podcast, Bully Pulpit, which has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on in his life right now, which launches in June. And you can find out more at booksmartstudios.org. Bob, I am going to put you back. I'm going to tuck you back into the green room, and I hope you will come back in about 15 minutes or so when Simon is done performing, and we'll have a little bit of final banter before we wrap up episode 1 of Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous. But my next guest, Simon Javan Ochello, certainly is famous. Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Joe. Are there donuts back there?
There are virtual donuts, my friend. In fact, there are donuts, but just the hole in the middle of the donut there for you.
All righty. I'll see you in a few.
All right. Well, that ends the first segment of the show. And one of the new things in the show is going to be actually correspondence in the middle, as I alluded to in my soliloquy. One of them is going to be Simon Javan Ochello. And Simon is going to be sharing an African proverb with us. Let me tell you a little bit about this incredible man. And you know, there are a few people in the world that I feel this kind of affection towards. Simon is definitely one of them. He is not only is he a fellow African, but he is an entrepreneur. He is a beautiful human being, and he is a creator. He is a father, a media creator, a DJ, a musician, a producer, a logistician. How do you a logistician? Is that how you pronounce it? It's late. And an entrepreneur with roots in Kenya who uses digital media and real life events to promote and celebrate a fresh narrative about the African and African American experience, both locally and globally. Please join me in saying, Simon, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Now I have to tell you something. I mean, you don't know the backwards and forwards that went on between Simon and myself. This, I don't even know how you did it, Simon, but you put on in Clubhouse and I guess digitally Africa Day, and did you sleep, by the way?
No, for about 30 hours there was no sleep at all because there was work to be done. So when there's work to be done, there's no sleep.
Yeah, I jobs to be done is a very strong, powerful North Star for us. But you put on this day, this celebration. I was in and out of rooms all day long, and I could not. I was just blown away by the diversity, just of everything. From what was one room was, I think, Black Panther's impact and effect on culture.
Right.
Amazing.
Right. I loved it. I enjoyed, spearheading it, but I do appreciate the team that actually helped make it happen. There was a huge team from the entire world, all the curators of each of the rooms. We had partners and sponsors from across all sectors, really, from universities to nonprofits to gaming companies, individuals. So it was excellent. It was a demonstration of what's possible when people come together, especially African people worldwide, what we can accomplish. It was very inspiring. Many people are still sending me messages of how proud that event made them feel. So I am happy that I was involved,
Now, this is how I discovered you. And I was in a room, and this guy by the name of Simon raises his hand in Clubhouse. And I wish I could remember it perfectly, but you said something, you were talking about the opportunity on Clubhouse and how everyone is rushing in and, being so intense about it and, and the land grab. And you said, I mean, you sounded almost like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. You said, if this, do not take a hatchet to an opportunity or to something. You said, if it was meant to be and if it has the staying power, then ultimately it will be worth the wait or something like that. I'm sure you can correct me, but when you said, I just thought of the image of someone taking a hatchet to, I don't know, what was the metaphor?
Do not kill a fly with an axe,
Okay, do not kill a fly with an axe. It was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
and immediately I sent you $1. I sent you $1.
I remember that was the first money I ever received through Clubhouse as a creator, so I remember that very clearly.
And it was just there. It was a token just to say, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. And then in one of my rooms afterwards, you came back and you actually one-upped me. You one-upped yourself, I should say. And you came up with the day a mosquito lands on your testicles is the day you will know there is a better way of resolving issues without using violence.
That's right.
And the baboon does not see its own buttocks. And I will very, very briefly share my point that I raised in your room. You run a room every day where you talk about your daily African proverb.
That's right.
And my interpretation of this was, when people see a baboon's backside, they laugh. It's
Right.
almost comical. I mean, it's almost embarrassing. But if a baboon could see its own buttocks, it would be inhibited. It would be embarrassed as well. And so because it can't, it just continues to live its life and
Right.
live life large and almost unaware, blissfully unaware. That was my interpretation.
Right. Totally. And the baboons judge each other, And so these types of proverb they're proverbs based on humans actually watching baboons and then relating the relationship the baboons have with each other with what humans have with each other, So even I have a different proverb I wanted to share today. Can I share it now?
Absolutely. So what you're going to be doing today, well, first of all, we can announce that you're going to be a correspondent. And the goal, of course, is to, not that you need to become more famous than you are, because remember, I am not famous, but my next guest is that this works so well. We're telegraphing the vision here that you quit the show because you're just too famous for the show. That's the goal. And with your talent, it's probably going to happen sooner rather than later. But today, you're going to share some, how do you pronounce it? Nyatiti?
Nyatiti. I'll just play a little something because I love playing this instrument. So should I start with the music or the proverb?
Whatever you want. And tell us about the instrument. Tell us about and in fact, you know what? I'm going to disappear into the background and let you do your thing.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to be here. And first, I want you to think about a proverb that I want to share with you. It says, by trying often, the monkey learns to jump from the tree. By trying often, the monkey learns to jump from the tree. Think about that, then we'll talk about it at the end. At the end of my performance. Chandore, 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 Chandore. This music instrument I'm playing is called Nyatiti, and when you play it, it actually makes the sound that almost says the word Nyatiti. So it's an instrument that loves to be praised. So you have to enjoy it while listening to it as well. It loves to be smiled at. It loves to be enjoyed. This instrument is played primarily in the Lake Victoria region of Kenya, so in the Great Lakes region, and also along the River Nile from Kenya, Egypt, Ethiopia. You find it in different versions. The version I play is called Nyatiti. And the proverb I shared with you earlier was, by trying often, the monkey learns to jump from the tree. And this proverb is really about consistency, repetition, and eventually gaining mastery. So just like the monkey tries, falls down, struggles, and eventually learns how to jump, not just from one tree to another tree, but to make the tree its world and to embrace the tree. I hope you can apply that to your life somehow. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kevin Keeler says, by trying often, the monkey learns to jump from the tree.
Right.
And he adds, I love the diversity and wisdom of worldwide proverbs. So, Kevin, while we're talking about it, we're gonna ask you to paste your comment. What do you think this proverb means? And before I bring Bob back, and I'll ask him how he interprets the proverb, I just want to say that please follow Simon on Twitter, on Instagram, And in Clubhouse, where he's really building a beautiful media platform, you can join his club. Tomorrow, for example, we're going to see a South African proverb. I'm going to
That's
have to
right.
make sure I come into that. The bitter heart eats its owner as well. And you can work with Simon. Just visit him at his website. Finally, you can subscribe to his channel, and I will paste a link to that channel in the comments below. So I am going to bring back Mr. Bob Garfield. And Mr. Bob Garfield, how do you interpret? First of all, welcome, Bob, Simon. It's good to have you both now. Bob, you have a JJ on your forehead. Just you can swat it,
Yes,
but not with a hatchet, because we learned not to swat the fly or the on-air sign with a hatchet. Would love to hear what your thoughts are about this particular proverb. By trying often, the monkey learns to jump from the tree.
Well, let me just mull that over for a second. I think it's a probably South African way of saying practice makes perfect. I'm a little concerned about a number of, dead monkeys. There's something about risk in there, but it's obviously true. We spend our lives with various kinds of aspirations, whether they be professional or athletic or personal, and we all of us just serially fuck things up until we kind of begin to grasp what our blind spots have been, what our failures have been, what's wrong with our techniques, what's wrong with our outlook, and so forth. Even as a parent, and I've been a parent now for like 200 years. I am the oldest living American, and I still make mistakes. But you jump out of a tree long enough, you're going to have some good landings. And I guess it's all about good landings that propel you to your next steps.
It also sounds that this could be applied to the influencer economy. A lot of influencers. I was looking at the stats earlier, and also looking at your efforts. By the way, congratulations, Bob. And I feel that this applies to the influencer economy, and how actually many influencers go through a very rough time before they can actually learn how to jump from the trees of influencers. And that even applies to people like Martin Luther King, people like Adolf Hitler that I was seeing in the video. So, we know how both of them had each problems in even becoming who they became. So, the monkey goes through the same challenges that we do.
My interpretation, by the way, what I love about what you're doing and about this room is that the more people that talk, the more perspective and the more the conversation just becomes even more rounded.
Mm-hmm.
My interpretation, in fact, I put it on Instagram earlier, was a very simple one, which is, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Practice makes perfect. There are a lot of analogies, but if I go a little bit deeper, I almost think the monkey swinging from the tree, the monkey being in the tree is two things. On one hand, it is the ability for the monkey to truly be alive, to live, to swing, to soar, to move almost in a way that transcends anyone on the ground. But at the same time, it's also part of survival. And it's one of those things where you got to go through those tough times. You've got to fall. You've got to make mistakes. Sometimes you've got to be fired. But it's all part of becoming. It's all part of bigger, better. And it's certainly, I think, a good place to wrap up the first episode of Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous, but Simon, Javan Ochello, and Bob Garfield, you guys certainly are. So I want to thank you both for being a part of the show. Simon, you're going to be sending in a proverb once a week, a small video clip. Bob, you can send in any video clips you want, as long as they don't involve dictators. How about that?
I think we can. I think we can probably work under those constraints. Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Well, guys, thank you so much, Simon. I'm going to say what every single person has said to you, which is go to sleep.
Thank you so much.
Go to sleep.
Nice to meet you, Bob.
I will see you. I will see you in your room tomorrow, Mr. Bob Garfield. Let's try not to make it another 17 years before we see each other again.
I got to tell you, man, I right at the moment I'm just wide open. So you get your surgery, you get well, and we can have another one of those gigundous glasses of wine together.
A big glass of wine, some mediocre poker, and always great conversation. And we always end the show with the verdict from the ultimate judge. Forget about a guy who looks at 30-second and critiques 30-second spots. This guy critiques streaming daily shows, Mr. Chuck Norris.
You are Chuck Norris approved.
There you go. I will see you guys in Clubhouse tomorrow and on the show again on Tuesday. Happy Memorial Day. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you for watching the show about hope, positivity, optimism, and if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing with your host, multiple author, and global keynote speaker, Joseph Jaffe. If you like the show, tell a friend or two. Please subscribe to the show, and if you want to get inside news, previews of upcoming guests, and much more, visit josephjaffe.com/subscribe to sign up for the show's newsletter.
And despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly.